Now this, boys and girls, is how you do a sports car. This is the new Porsche Boxster Spyder. In standard form, it doesn't have air conditioning, doesn't have a radio, doesn't have navigation, it doesn't even have door handles. It has little cloth loops that you pull on that weigh about 2 pounds less. In total, it weighs almost 200 pounds less than a conventional Boxster, and it has the most powerful engine ever offered in a Boxster, the same 3.4-liter direct injection flat six from the Cayman S. 320 horsepower in a lighter body. This is the ultimate Boxster. The Spyder doesn't even come with a power top. It only has this silly manually erected bikini you can put on when it rains, which is to say it's only really supposed to be driven when it's... Kim, what are you doing? We're shooting a video here, man.
Well, this is the new Tesla Roadster Sport that we're here to lap today.
Well, why are you sitting up there on that trailer?
This car is so fast that if I drove it on the street, I'd get a ticket.
Let's get down off that trailer and talk.
Okay.
All right, Kim, now we got you off that trailer, which, by the way, this Tesla's going to spend all its time on.
We'll see.
What's so great about an electric sports car?
Well, it's the technology of the future. This is a very advanced car with very advanced batteries, and it's a very fast car, too. A lot of power. This is the sport version, so it has extra horsepower, 288 horsepower. The motor is about this big. It's very compact. It's a single-speed transmission, one gear, and so it's very simple, very efficient, and far more efficient than that car is.
And Kim, in all fairness, this is by Porsche. I mean, they've won Le Mans more times than I can count. This is by Tesla. I mean, this car exists, I don't know, to get Ed Begley Jr. invited to Al Gore's Christmas party. I mean, it's not a sports car. Give me a break.
Well, we'll find out, but I think in a few years you'll find Porsche developing some electric alternatives themselves for Le Mans.
Well, we'll see about that. Meantime, we're here at Willow Springs Racetrack anyway. Why don't we just take them out and see how they compare?
That's a good idea.
Let's go.
All right.
First up, the Boxster Spyder. I took the wheel first to show Kim how a real car goes around a racetrack. All right, now it's time to do a lap of Willow Springs Street Circuit in my choice, the Porsche Boxster Spyder. Oh, listen to that beautiful direct injection flat six. The steering is just fantastic. Oh man, I'm already in love. I've already put down one corner. Just so well balanced, you can feel exactly what the front tires are doing. $176 pounds lighter than the Boxster S. And you can feel it, it's just that much more nimble. It's got 10 extra horsepower too. This has the Cayman S motor in it. Oh, I could do this all day long. Just about the best 6-speed manual transmission in the world too. It's light, it's positive, clutch is perfectly smooth. Pedals are just where you want them for heel and toe. Oh, this is what sports cars are all about. Oh man, there's no way you're going to be able to beat this car with an electric motor. This is going to be a full lap now of the street circuit here in this Boxster Spyder. Take that, Mr. Tesla. After my exhilarating lap in the Boxster Spyder, it was Kim's turn to take it for a spin around the streets of Willow Race Circuit.
Well, here we are at Willow Springs, the streets of Willow Springs, and the Boxster Spyder, and what a terrific car. I'm looking forward to this. Art's been going on and on about how perfect it is, and I'm not so sure it's perfect, but I'm expecting a lot. Here we go. A good sound. That's what you expect a Porsche to sound like. It does feel very light. I can sense the lower mass of the chassis. I can also sense a lot of bumps through the suspension. So this is definitely a sport version. The steering is just delightful. It just, like I'm turning in now, yes, that's nice. That's very nice. Perfect weighting, very linear. Just exquisite characteristics. Now I have to say that all the while you hear that sound, that rump, rump, rump. Well, guess what that is? That's power, but that's also hydrocarbons going out the back, and CO2 and all that stuff that we don't like anymore. And when I drive the Tesla doing this, there'll be a whine and with nothing coming out the tailpipe. In fact, right over those hills there are a set of windmills that make electricity out of the wind that we've been feeling all day. So conceivably, you could do hot laps around here and be propelled by the wind, in a way of thinking. But this is a nice car. Art's got a good point. I mean, it's a little hard to argue with the qualities of this. This car really says a lot about all of the decades that Porsche's been at this. That, you know, you don't come to a car like this just right off the bat. We see cars all the time built, sports cars that people think are just the greatest ever, and it's their first effort at building a sports car, and they kind of disappoint. Well, this doesn't disappoint, and it reflects its great heritage. All those decades of racing at Le Mans, endurance racing, 24 hours here and there and whatnot, well, it all shows up here. This is a hell of a car.
Next up, the science experiment that is the Tesla Roadster. Since Kim picked this car, I let him take the wheel first.
Well, here we are at Willow in the Tesla Roadster Sport, and this is their performance version of the Roadster. Costs more money, almost $130,000, twice the price of the Porsche. It's a lot of money. Let's see if it's worth it. And away we go. Well, I'd say that initial acceleration is worth a lot. Tremendous torque down the straightaway. Electric motor makes all of its torque at 0 RPM, and you can feel it there. It just goes like a railgun. The steering is very direct. It's non-assisted, very direct, mechanical. It feels a bit like a kart or a racing car, or actual racing car. Unlike the Porsche, which is velvety and lovely and delicious and almost perfect, but probably a better steering system for road driving. For race driving, this actually might have some advantages. And I'm just talking about the steering, not the handling of the car, but just the steering characteristic. Now you hear all those whirs and whistles. Well, that's an electric motor, and this one is 288 horsepower, which is quite a lot for a motor that's about that big, very small. It's about the most efficient electric motor for its size in existence. It's built and designed by Tesla. It's a unique piece. It's not something they buy from somebody else. In fact, almost all of the drivetrain components are unique and built by them. Now you hear these sounds. I'm going to go down the straightaway. It's, again, like a railgun. Away we go. It's very fast. And the electric sounds you're hearing are very different from all those rumbles and things that Porsche was making, which is fun and exciting to hear, but it's also the sound of gas burning and CO2 being emitted. And that's not a good thing in this day and age. This car is extremely efficient. Again, about 90% efficient for an electric motor, and versus 25 for that Porsche. So that's a big advantage.
After seeing the grin on Kim's face as he pulled into the pits, I gotta say, I was pretty curious to drive the Tesla myself. All right, time for my first ever track laps in a Tesla, the sports car of the future. This is what it feels like to be a sports car driver of George Jetson's era. It's got that heavy steering that Lotuses have. No power steering, of course. Ooh, not much brake there. Man, it sounds like a spaceship. Heavy steering. Man, you gotta like the torque of that motor though. It really shoves you back. Kind of missed the sound of that Porsche Flat 6 though. No transmission, of course, to worry about. Well, I'm just pressing down and hanging on. Could use more brakes though. Definitely would want more brakes. Feel a little judder there under braking. Not sure what that is. once it gets a little bit beyond 60 miles an hour, I think the Porsche is accelerating harder. This Tesla's kind of fun though, I gotta say. I don't know though. Compared to the Boxster Spider, it's a bit of an Android car. And of course, it's going to end up in a trailer as soon as we're done with this lap because we're out of battery power. Pretty fun though. Okay, Kim, we've had a chance now to ring out these two very sporty but very different Roadsters. What do you think?
Well, Art, I basically agree with you. The Porsche is a fantastic car. It's hard to argue with that. The price advantage, half the price, the performance is tremendous. It has such exquisite qualities and details and subtleties that there's no disputing that that is the better car at a much lower price. So that's kind of a settled issue. I think that when you're looking at this car, it's a whole different argument or subject we're getting into. Whenever a new technology like this comes along, it always costs more. There's always issues, there's always problems. But it is a really substantial transition in how we drive and power automobiles. And something else that's important about what we're doing with this story is we've chosen to actually compare a great Porsche against this car. How many times have we looked upon an electric car as really worthy of such a comparison? So it says a lot about this car that it made the cut. It's worth comparing. It's finally gotten over that hurdle that's of comparison worthiness. We found with the Porsche that it spoke loudly to us as we drove it. It communicates so articulately that that's so impressive about it. Where the Tesla has high performance capabilities, very fast in a straight line, and a lot of grip, but it was quite a lot more mute in how it was communicating around the track. And I think that lowered its lap times, and a driver would really have to learn this car a lot more. And that, again, says a lot about the Porsche's development and all of the decades of work, that you can learn very quickly where this car's limits are, and this took a lot longer.
To my mind, this electric Tesla is very interesting, I gotta say. I enjoyed it on the track a lot more than I thought I would. It's remarkable in acceleration. It has that kind of tinker toy, very heavy steering that a lot of other Lotuses have. It was fun, interesting, but at 130 grand, it's twice the price of this Boxster Spider. I could buy two of these and take the family on a vacation to Hawaii for the price of this thing, and you never have that fear of running out of juice somewhere and needing to have a trailer running behind you. I mean, that's perfect for Matt Damon and George Clooney. I can't afford to have a trailer follow me everywhere I go. So interesting science experiment, but this is such a sensational sports car, one of the best I've ever driven on any track. I'm going to stick with the Porsche Boxster Spider.
Well, Art, I see what you're saying. You have a lot of strong points in your argument, but there's one more thing I think we need to experience: a drag race.
Let's do it.
Okay.